Starting with Alabama, this state has the stereotype that everyone is very close with their relatives, to the point where marrying cousins is not uncommon. You know, I don't think I want to learn more about Alaska. It's so cold there, sometimes dropping to 30 degrees in their winter. It's like I'd actually freeze someone alive and get stuck in an ice block. Summer doesn't seem too bad though. But winters are harsh in Arizona, completely opposite to Alaska. You can fry an egg on your car if it's like 120 degree around. It's like a desert oven out there. You probably won't find anything in Arkansas. I'd have to check because Arkansas is known for Bill Clinton, Johnny Cash, the Buffalo National River, and their famous fried pickles. Moving on to California, it's expensive. It's tough living here with a bunch of fake content creators and clueless live streamers, lots of influencers, and high gas prices, but it's a great vacation spot. Although Colorado, to be honest, they're known for their mountains and sports teams. Connecticut isn't just leading the way in aerospace, but also in manufacturing. Delaware, the second smallest state after Rhode Island, and apparently the first state formed. Florida, they're crazy down there, with alligators and oranges. Like, how many times have you heard that in an article? Have you seen a crazy person named Florida Man do something like pocketing anything, like all the time? Another great vacation spot they have, Universal, better than Disney. Georgia, they're famous for peaches and true crazy rap talent. Like half the rap game coming out of Atlanta because that's their talent. Looking at this whole list, it's like they've been getting compensated for the Young Thug feature in Ken Carson's Future. I won't go on anymore, and they have the tightest jeans in the world, man. It's like they're about to cut circulation. Hawaii. I want to go there one day, except for the occasional volcano eruption and tsunami. It seems like a retirement vacation spot. Like I'll go there when I'm about 60 and want to explore the world. Idaho, they're known for potatoes. Illinois, they have some good rappers in Chicago, but I think Atlanta cleaned up. They have sports teams for hockey, baseball, basketball, and they have that signature Chicago-style pizza. Indiana, they're known for racing because of the Indy 500, and they're really known for the Colts and Notre Dame. Iowa, they're not known for much else other than a college football team. That's all I can think of about them. Kansas sounds like a pretty boring state when living in a city named after the state, Kansas City. That's not even in their state, but in Missouri. It's really sad. Like, why live in Kansas when you can live in Missouri? Kentucky. The shape of their state is literally a piece of fried chicken. I don't know about fried chicken, but I really don't know what else they're known for. Besides their chicken is gas. And they have a pretty good college basketball team. Louisiana. You know, this state really has a movement. They have sports teams always like, that's a good sign. And they're famous for jazz music. So if you listen to jazz music regularly, you might thank Louisiana, Maine. This state is pretty boring when I went there. Basically, it's a vast land with no one there except for, I'll give you what to do. Maine looks like a pretty quiet state to live in, but since it's so far north, winters would probably be pretty bad. So this looks like the kind of state you go to get away from people and then just like to immerse yourself in nature for a week. Maryland, the Ravens. That's all I can think about Massachusetts. People there are famously bad drivers, and basically they're the movers and shakers for all of New England. Down there they have Boston. They have a pretty decent city life down there if you want to get stuck in traffic for like 3 hours, and they have every sports team in New England. And they have beaches. In Michigan, you'll get robbed if you leave a package at your door too long. Damn, getting robbed, but you can say bye. Especially if you live in the Detroit area, because you can't have shit in Detroit. It's like a whole meme on the internet. There's this local guy in Detroit who lost his whole awning because, all right, no, I'm kidding. But they have an exciting sports scene, and they have a lot of rappers blowing up. Minnesota, it's like a colder Alaska. Cold like there's a reason Lil Yachty made a song called Minnesota and said cold like Minnesota. And Mississippi, damn, what are they known for? Maybe like Elvis Presley and blues music, and then they have, what else, like rivers. I didn't even know they're known for the Gateway Arch, and then the Chiefs. Like, that's really it. That's all I can think of. Like, I know the Arrowhead Stadium, it's like famous for being louder. Missouri, I think Missouri's pretty boring. Montana, this is probably where I'd go like snowmobiling or something. If I wanted to do a winter activity, I'll go to Montana. Nebraska, I'm looking forward to this. This is probably the worst state to live in so far. 100% for sure you're living on a farm, living in a field if you're from Nebraska. I don't know. That's probably going to be tough to find, but comment what to do in Nebraska. Because I'm actually curious, like, did I miss something? This is just a field? Like the most rural place? Nevada! This is probably the greatest party life known in America. Everyone's hyping this up. Everyone's saying I have to go when I turn 21, blow this up on my YouTube likes. All right? I'm joking. My YouTube joking don't strike me. But they have like clubs and everything. And they have people performing tricks in the polls. New Hampshire. Basically, you just go to New Hampshire if you don't want to go to Montana. It's like another natural state like Maine. New Jersey. This picture here looks like a vibe. I won't stop you about this. It looks like a pretty quiet place to live. And I guess it's called the Garden State, New Mexico. Seems like a pretty unrelated state. Like, why go to New Mexico if you can go to Mexico? I didn't even know what the capital of New Mexico is. Mexico, they're even known as the birthplace of the nuclear bomb if they make nuclear bombs. There might not be much going on here because it's just desert. New York. Oh, I have a lot to say about New York. I recently went here. Oh my God, the subway is like hell, and they're famous for having the busiest city in the world. Hey man, not a second goes by where you don't hear a beep. You constantly just hear beeping. But besides that, there's a lot to do there, and there's Canal Street, where you have to be the greatest negotiator. North and South Carolina. North Carolina has Charlotte. South Carolina has Myrtle Beach. Both are quite accomplished. They have an amusement park named Carowinds in North Carolina. So do you know if they have any activities? And they have a good college basketball team and a not-so-good soccer team. But on the other hand, North and South Dakota, they're a despicable lot, my friend. They don't have any movement at all. I'm heading north in South Carolina any day of the week in the North and South Dakota as if I've never actually met anyone said to be from either of those states. I don't even think it's any different from Nebraska. Ohio, the dude says. If there's anyone still saying that, only in Ohio you're lost when it comes to internet culture. I don't even know why this is so funny. You can't have nonsense in Detroit just clean any day of the week. Ohio has amusement parks like Cedar Point. It's at one park with a 400-ton roller coaster. Like, if you don't have the motivation to overcome it, you'll get tired, and this trip doesn't look fun either. But other than that, it seems like a pretty interesting amusement park. And they have a very good soccer background. They also have 2 soccer teams, and the NFL Hall of Fame, Oklahoma, they're known as something like tornadoes. Yeah, I really don't know much about Oklahoma. Oregon, why come here if you can go to Seattle, Washington? Like, it seems to have more activities. Like, what really needs to be done in Oregon? Like, I know they have the Ducks college soccer team, but nothing else. In Pennsylvania, they're really into baseball. They really organize the Little League World Series globally, and they have Hershey Park, Rhode Island. They must have the most beautiful beaches in the world if it's called an ocean state, and it's the smallest state you can drive around in about 40 minutes. Rhode Island, how they have a population of 1 million since 2021. How the hell do they fit in? How do they all fit in that tiny state? And it has a higher population than North Dakota. Somehow Tennessee, they're famous for country music in Nashville. I guess Nashville has some crazy actions. They're famous for it. Bars and booze too. I guess so. I guess if I'm wasted and acting like I'm a country boy like this, then I guess I'll take the hella girls down there. And the same thing with Texas. And yeah, I can confirm that everything's really bigger in Texas. And surprisingly, I didn't see anyone wearing cowboy hats carrying guns. But yeah, the food is crazy. The city life is hot, like fire just burning. Utah has a lake known. I really don't know what else is there in Utah. Vermont, you have cabins, and you go skiing there, and you go skiing or anything. It's another natural state. It's really a copy of New Hampshire. It looks a lot like New Hampshire, Virginia. They're famous for the Appalachian Mountains and Virginia Beach, and basically that's it. Washington, Seattle seems to have a lot of activities. Like, looking at it, it looks so cool, my friend. But it's like the upper left corner of the US. They can drive to Canada within an hour and get there. To the west, Virginia, then what does West Virginia mean? If there's Virginia, then Virginia really seems a lot better. Wisconsin, they're famous for cheese and Green Bay Packers. Besides that, I really don't know what else. Wyoming just rode. My friend, but you really can get your license there at 15 years old. Desolate to the point, the likelihood you see someone on the road in Wyoming is so low, you can drive for miles without seeing any civilization. But maybe it's another snow state.